welcome back to the second episode of Plot Points and Pours. We are glad to have you here, and after a stunning review of our first episode from most of the comments on YouTube and other social media platforms, we are happy to continue the podcast. My name is David Lee. Sitting next to me is Luke Murata and Cameron Gearing. And behind the computer, as always, is Vito Murata.
Hello.
Yep. How about you say hello, Vito?
Hello.
Well, he seems jazzed up for today's episode. So, as we talked about last week, we were reviewing the Matthew Perry biography, but I quickly want to throw it to Cam because I think this book had a pretty big impact on him when he was reading it. So I want to give him
You really
his
liked
chance.
this one, didn't you?
Yeah, to say his piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dave. So we're real excited to have our first official book review. I know a lot of people might think this is a bit of an interesting choice, to say the least, for this being our first review. Matthew Perry, rest in peace. Friends, lovers, and the big terrible thing. But yeah, we're not afraid to tackle different topics on this show, so we just want to get right into it. I think there's going to be a few that we miss on. I think that right out of the gate, I think we're not afraid to say that, but
This won't be one of them.
we're gonna try our best to tackle them, and I strongly believe that we are going to bring views and opinions to the viewers that really have a lasting impact.
I think the most important thing is when we're doing these book reviews, we're just giving our honest opinions about the stuff. And I think, we're a little biased. Obviously, we think our opinions are good enough to put on a podcast. So, I think it's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, so Matthew Perry, I read this one super quickly. It's a really easy read. The way he writes, it just flows naturally. It's really conversational. I don't want to get too far into it because I think first we want to go over to Vito and have him review the front and back cover, give his feedback on that.
This is what we plan on starting everything with, right? This is our first
Yeah, this
segment,
is a
every
staple.
show.
Yeah. All right. So on the front of it, obviously you have this beautiful headshot of Matthew. Great picture. Going back to the back, I think it's where we really read into the telltale story. There's a nice picture of him as a child sitting there eating a rock. I think you could read into that however you want, but it shows, look how simple his life was back then, but you never know what someone's actually going through. Other than that, it's honestly a very good cover.
Well, you also had the same problem for a while now. You used to eat rocks.
Mine wasn't rocks, mine was sticks.
Oh, okay.
And he jacked his teeth up pretty good. My parents are pretty pissed about his braces situation with that one. But
Yeah.
Well, I never wore a retainer.
They do usually, the doctors always say don't chew sticky stuff, but Vito was like, oh, okay, well, sticks aren't sticky, so.
Some of them are if they're maple.
Vito, didn't it happen when you were a kid? You were walking in the woods and tripped and a stick
Yes.
went down your
Dude, he
throat.
was coughing up blood. I carried him home.
We were playing at the end of the street, and someone chased me. I tripped, and a stick went right down my throat.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah,
That is messed up.
really
yeah, it was.
strange occurrence. Yeah.
It's a hell of a way to
But-
start a podcast.
With that, Cam, I don't know. Anybody else got anything to say about this book here? My biggest. Go ahead. You want me? Okay.
No, go ahead. You first.
My biggest thing was I never knew how jacked up he was and like drugs and everything. Anybody know he was in the hospital for 5 months?
No, I had no idea that.
Which time?
The one when his colon
Before reading.
exploded.
Wow.
That was crazy to me. That part.
So what happened? Why was he? His colon explodes. Why is he in? Tell the listeners why he was in there for 5 months.
Yeah, obviously, if you didn't read the book with us, he was in there for opioid abuse.
What did he say? It was like 50 Vicodin a day he was
He said he
taking?
was taking 55 Vicodin a day, I believe.
He got down to like 138 pounds or something.
I thought it was 128. I might be misspoken.
128?
Let me look real quick. 128. Oh my God! How do you get down to 128 pounds as a male, adult male?
Well, how tall was he too? He's not a short man like this guy to my right. I mean, he's a pretty normal sized guy, I think.
He was 6 foot, dude.
Dude, that's 2
128.
feet taller than you are.
I mean, that's almost creeping up by Cameron height.
It's true. Yeah, I think the book is really revealing. He's really open and honest about a lot of stuff. I believe whether it was the foreword or something on the back cover, I forget. There's a note on there. It's like, if you want to make a judgment on Matthew Perry's life, don't do so before reading this book. I think that really
100%.
Yeah. It's really interesting to dive into his life. And like I said at the get-go, he was really open and straightforward and honest. And
I think most people that make a biography about themselves hide a lot of things. I think he was, like you would say, an open book, and he laid it all out.
Oh, he put it all out there for sure.
Speaking of putting it all out there, what's up with Bieber?
Oh, no.
Jeez, oh man.
I don't want to.
We go into one downer subject into
Yeah.
another downer subject. So, for those who have not heard, Shane Bieber, starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians and ace.
Our hometown, where we're broadcasting from.
Yep. Not to dox ourselves. Thanks a lot. Now they're gonna freaking swat us when the next time we are trying to record. But
My bad.
What?
But so Shane Bieber has 2 fantastic starts.
Like record setting.
Yeah, I want to say the first one was like he had 11 strikeouts. Second one maybe 9 strikeouts.
He's thrown 12 innings, had 20 strikeouts to start. No one.
Okay, that would make the math adds up there.
Yes.
And it was just announced today that season's over and he's going to be getting Tommy John surgery. Now that completely screws up the rotation for the lineup. I mean, we pretty much have to pray to God at the end of the month Gavin Williams comes back and can fill that spot.
Gavin Williams.
Sounds like a singer. Also, it really stinks. You know, we're all excited. We're going to opening day here coming Monday, and we're really looking forward to seeing Shane pitch, and not going to happen
Was
now.
he scheduled for that day?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That really sucks.
I actually have a question for you, Luke. So the starting 4, let's say minus Gavin, because he'll eventually come back into it.
We got Bybee.
Bybee,
Carrasco,
Carrasco, and McKenzie. Who do you think is going to be the new ace?
Yeah, if you give it a month, it needs to be McKenzie.
You think so? Over Bybee?
He was supposed to be the ace, I think, even with Bieber around. Like
Even Bieber.
McKenzie's got the stuff, man.
Yeah.
Bieber used to say that he's going to be one of the best pitchers in the league.
Yeah, but to be honest, Bybee came. All right, you can fact check me, tech guy, but I'm pretty sure he came in second in voting for Rookie of the Year last year.
He might have. I just think
he might
that
have.
McKenzie has the most upside, like out of any pitcher we have right now. Just hopefully he can stay healthy too, though.
How old is
another-
McKenzie now?
Oh, they're all young.
Dude, I was even
'Cause
surprised Bieber is only 28 years old.
Is he 28 or I think they said 26?
Think about it. Like,
95, he was born in, because it's the same year as him. So
yeah, maybe.
guess
how long do we
he'd
have?
have
Like,
to be.
MLB contracts are like 5 years on their first deal, right?
yeah, they're long.
They're pretty long, even if it isn't
I
5.
thought it was
something
7
like that.
years. Tristan
Could be,
McKenzie's,
yeah.
Tristan McKenzie's 26.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are young. But, I thought it was an interesting question.
Tanner Bybee was second place. You're correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
But he was well in second place.
Yeah, who, the Seattle guy won it,
No,
though, right?
Baltimore guys.
Baltimore guy, yeah.
So
2 years ago, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Julio.
I think it's pretty
You're right,
crazy going back to Bieber here. What's up with the most prominent throwers in Cleveland having these awesome performances with messed up arms?
I thought
you
the
got
same-
you
yeah.
got Watson has the best game of his Browns career, arguably.
out for the season.
Out for the season, played the whole game with everything messed up.
Yeah.
And then Bieber's been battling a messed up elbow the whole season. 20 strikeouts,
And you would
no
never
earned
know that.
runs.
Literally.
Incredible.
Well, I don't know how much is it is like just bad luck, injury bug, or is it like
Is it something in the water here?
Like it's just who we are.
It's like you get too close to the Great Lakes and your arm just starts falling off.
Yeah, I think
Same
so.
thing happened to me. That's why my pro career didn't take off.
Who does anybody know the recovery time of Tommy John
Yeah,
surgery?
12 to 18 months.
Yep.
So best case scenario, 12 months. You're in the second week of the next season.
Jeez.
Misses spring training.
The thing about it, though, they have started to get better at this, where I wouldn't say a lot of times, but it's not uncommon for the pitcher to come back and even be better. Like they repair it in a way that like
It's not career ending.
That's why they do it.
No, it definitely
because
is not.
It can help him.
pitchers do Tommy John's as a preventative measure
Yeah.
too.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think what is super concerning is obviously this was a big year for the Guardians trade wise with Bieber, because if he was lighting things up,
Yeah, you're not trading him
before
now.
the deadline, you would have gotten a lion's sum from him for another team that needed it. I'm sure, because the Guardians are a farm team for bigger like the Mets or the Yankees or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dodgers.
you would have gotten a lion's sum for him. And it just makes me wonder, well, what do we do moving forward? Do we try to re-sign Bieber for pennies on the dollar, maybe for a short-term contract, build him back up, and maybe we can work that trade again? Or is somebody just going to take a huge flyer on him because baseball's crazy?
Yep.
Give him a 10-year contract for $200 million or something
No, I don't
like
think it'd
that.
be something like that. I think somebody will offer him
1
2
year.
years,
Yeah.
$50 million or something.
Yeah.
It's something the Indians or Guardians aren't going to pay.
Yeah, we have very cheap owners.
Just for a risk like that. I mean, he could come back 2 years and a year from now and be a Cy Young again.
That's completely possible. And that's
I
what
did
I'm-
not know. I didn't know this had such a high success rate. The surgery.
Oh, it 100% does.
Yeah.
It's so common in pitchers nowadays.
I think there's probably some risk, but yeah.
Yeah, with anything.
So speaking of the opening day and stuff, like we're all going to that game. What time do you think we should get down there with the eclipse going on?
Well, I think it's going to be a madhouse. We're in the path of totality, which I learned means that it is the path in which the eclipse is that you're going to actually be able to see it in its full
Totality.
full form. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totality. Yeah,
You really broke
I'm
that.
hoping-
Really broke that one down for us.
Well, I saw you drooling over there. You were a little slack jawed. So I wanted to make sure you know.
I hope the day we get, because they say partly cloudy. They also said today is partly cloudy.
Oh,
Look,
it's
there's like
beautiful.
3 clouds outside.
So I saw that earlier today. They said partly cloudy in the morning, and now in the afternoon it's supposed to completely break up. They're
Let's
hoping.
go.
Yeah, it was supposed to rain a little
That's
bit.
going to
more.
be great.
Perfect opening day, hopefully too.
Everybody stay safe. It is going to be a madhouse,
True.
I think. But
Public
I think it's going to be
transportation.
festive. It's a celestial event of a lifetime.
Mayor Bibb, who I did see sitting down to pee last weekend,
Yeah, it's crazy.
said,
It's crazy.
said to expect that it's going to be like the Guardians home opener, a Browns game, a Cavs game, and St. Patrick's Day all in one day downtown.
that's nuts.
Expect a crowd like that.
So do you think
we got to
the
get
crowd-
down there early.
Do you think
then.
the crowd is
yeah.
going to
To
be
answer your
bigger
question.
Yes.
than the Cavs parade?
No, that was nuts.
Yeah, but I'll also throw this out there, and I just want to put this as a an invitation. We know a lot of you are listening out there. If you see us on the street, do not be afraid to come up and talk to us. Vito signed a lot of foreheads in the past. I'm sure he will.
Some other things, yeah.
Absolutely. You guys come find us.
Yeah, come
for
find
real.
us. We'll be out.
But yeah, back to this beautiful day. I mean, first I should say I want to get back to the book. I want to read an excerpt from the book where he's taking us through his hospital visit. But before we get to that,
Yeah.
beautiful day, Cleveland, Ohio, Final Four, women's,
Hosting it
NCAA. Last night, first round of games, pretty incredible stuff. The city is feeling the excitement right now.
Oh, it was electric down there.
It's a big money thing for the city too, especially.
They said $150 million.
I mean, but think what the difference in revenue they would bring in if Caitlin Clark wasn't in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, tickets are going for tens of thousands.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
The score of the game last night, it's coming down to the final play. Iowa's up by 1 with about 10 seconds left. Controversial foul call
for sure.
against UConn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, UConn is
Moving
the
screen.
biggest brand in women's college basketball,
for sure.
but it's already well documented. Caitlin Clark is the
This is
biggest
the new
attraction
thing.
for women's basketball all time. I don't want to start a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but
Start it.
And adding to that, as you've been watching both tournaments, men and women, they've been letting them play. They've been letting a lot of stuff happen. It's
So
been
do you see
fun to watch.
consistency, or do you
There was no
see-
consistency in this call, I don't think.
You don't think so?
see, last night when we were at the bar, I was drinking a few easy buckets, which, by the way, that's what I'm drinking
Before you
today.
jump into some, what was the vibe of the bar like? Was it like exciting? Like
Were there a lot of Iowa
people were there for
jerseys
this?
in the crowd?
People were there. Everybody was watching.
People were cheering both ways, though. Like,
Yep.
it's
I
pretty
think a
wild.
lot of people put a lot of money down for the sports betting
sure.
apps. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
They cleaned my
they were
clock.
cheering for some funny stuff.
And as of
it was
now-
kind of like the Super Bowl.
None
to
of,
be
none of
honest.
those
Sure.
books
crazy.
sponsor us, so we won't mention any names. But
Well,
Feel free.
yeah,
Stinky Pete's.
Besides Stinky Pete, yeah.
that is true.
That was a good. That
But
was
he's
a
a
good one.
personal friend.
Yeah, download his app.
It definitely paid for
We'll
this
push
week.
that one. Yeah.
Pay for the Amazon book.
But yeah, back to women's basketball real quick. I'm really excited to just have the championship in Cleveland because this year in particular has been like the epitome of women's basketball. I feel like they've been working so hard to advertise it, bring up, get it to a level where it's comparable to men. And
I got a question. Wait, before you say that, because this is going to lead right into it. And Cameron, in your honest opinion, do you feel as though these two tournaments are back to back, the men's and women's.
Yeah.
They're going on at the same time. You hear so much more about the women's tournament than the men's. Do you think at this point in time, or maybe in the near future, do you think that women's March Madness has eclipsed the men's March Madness?
I think just this year.
I think this
Yeah,
year,
it's in this
absolutely.
moment.
But
Because
yeah,
this is only a third year for their bracket, right? Or second year for their women's bracket?
I'm not sure.
Is that what Kamala
No,
Harris said?
yeah, she's. I wonder if what she's referring to is the first year or third year you can bet on it, maybe, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's probably it.
No, I mean they've always had a tournament.
But it obviously is
But
like
she did say that.
It's crazy. Has to be. I was thinking about this the other day, and when I was thinking of like women's events, women in sports events that have garnered as much attention as this has, and in the U.S., obviously, even worldwide, it's just obviously men's sports are more popular.
Yeah.
But this women's tournament has completely blown the water.
Yeah.
It's all you hear about it. The only thing I can think that was comparable to it is maybe the Women's World Cup.
Women's basketball
That's true.
overseas is pretty big compared to here, though.
To your point with that,
that's true, too. You're right.
next year, Caitlin Clark leaves, Angela Reese leaves, Paige, however you say her last
Angel
name,
Reese.
from UConn. Yeah, whatever.
Beckers.
They leave.
I don't think she's leaving. She's a freshman. Isn't she?
I don't think
No,
she's
no, no.
even either. Angel Reese.
She isn't?
Angel
Paige
Reese
Beckers
definitely.
is at least a junior.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think
maybe
it's
she has a
Angel
year
Reese's
left.
last year either.
She announced she's going.
Yeah.
Oh, she announced?
But yeah, I gotta say it straight. I gotta get this out there. I want to say it straight away. The LSU game, LSU Iowa. Honestly, that might have been one of the most exciting, coolest basketball games I've ever seen.
That was fun to watch.
But think
Any level.
Think about this too.
They all the big names, and they lived up to it. That game was fast paced. They were hitting shots, making plays, pushing each other.
That was
a
like
little bit.
3 after 3, like
But
back
think
and
about
forth.
what really also led that to happen is NIL money. Because there is
Yep.
no way that Caitlin Clark would have stayed in the league another year.
Yeah, she could have went to the WNBA and got her
But you're probably
$65 grand a
making
year.
more money.
Exactly. Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
You're right. Like
Now she's making that easy.
it's
Yeah.
65. Yeah.
she's making millions.
So speaking of that game, though, like you were saying at the controversial call, though, there was another controversial call at the end of that game. Granted, Iowa was coming close to running away with it, but they were still fouling to
Yeah.
stop the clock.
Yeah.
And
Angel.
Angel Reese fouled out.
Oh,
And
you're right. Yeah, yeah.
They
yeah.
called, a charge or a block when it was, I think it was a charge, or they called the charge when it was a block. So no little controversy there, but
I think you're gonna have that in every game.
but another game where they were letting
Yeah.
them play and then a ticky tack like
Yeah,
that.
the
like,
UConn moving screen when we saw it at the bar live, and I think we were getting into this, but bringing it back to that now.
Yeah.
Saw it at the bar. I thought 100% it was not a foul.
No, you just let him
I
play
thought it
there.
100%. But then this morning I looked at the replay again. Maybe we'll show it. We'll bring it up later. But she did kind of lean in and move a little bit.
She moved and then she leaned a little bit too.
It was ticky tack, but by the book.
Yeah,
I think they could call it. But like Luke said,
in that moment,
it
that's
was
the
a pretty
game.
physical game.
So you tell me right now,
game's over after
you're
that
telling
call.
me right now, live or not live, but pre-recorded on the air, that we're saying Mayor Bibb had his pockets in the refs.
Not him. No, his
bigger than
pockets
him?
were sitting on the toilet at town hall. Being.
Some guys just prefer it. All right, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but anyways, with that being said, I think we got to kick it to a little commercial break here.
Jeez, that went bad.
Yeah,
That went fast. Yeah.
We'll be back in a minute. Hang tight.
And we'll bring more insight on the book after the break.
For sure.
Absolutely. This is a word from our sponsors. Do you crave captivating stories, thirst for thought-provoking discussions, and maybe, just maybe, need a reason to finally finish that six-pack? Then welcome to Plot Points and Pours, the podcast where we dissect the plot, analyze the points, and dive into our favorite local beers while we do so. Each week, we delve into your favorite book, movies, and everything in between. We'll uncover hidden themes, debate character choices, and maybe even shed a tear or two. But hey, it's not all serious business. We'll have plenty of laughs, witty banter, and enough beer-fueled tangents to keep things interesting. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let Plot Points and Pours take your literary adventures. Find Plot Points and Pours wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, buckle up because things are about to get lit or airy.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us through that commercial break. Right before we get back into the book, which we're obviously going to do, I was just kind of thinking, Matthew Perry, huge career, obviously known for a lot of things, but mainly the show Friends.
Yeah, true.
Pretty controversial show in where people stand on it. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Hugely successful, wildly successful
Yeah.
show.
People do-
But you're right.
People do sleep
Era-defining
on
show.
People do sleep on his performance in 17 again with
For sure. But I wanted to get to, what do you guys think about the show? Where do you guys stand?
I think it's completely overrated, kind of a trash show.
It's funny because not most people that like it, they're obsessed with it.
Yeah, it
probably
is
a
like
top 5
yeah,
show
it's one of
ever,
those like
right?
ride or die shows. But I'm telling you, you watch most of those episodes, they're just not that funny.
I never
Like,
got it. I never watched many episodes.
I'm
I
more
never
of
got
a Seinfeld, King of Queens kind of guy. Like those are my like. I think those are shows that you fall asleep to. You know what I mean? You could watch them a million times over. Friends just does.
Well,
not
Friends
do it
would
for me.
put you to sleep.
I have watched all of Friends.
And is that
I-
your choice or
No, it was of my choice. Yes, I like the show. I thought it was good, but obviously I have a lower IQ than all of you three, so maybe that's why I like
He's
it.
hard on himself.
I think it's a good show to watch passively. You have it on in the background. You might get a little laugh here or there. We grew up, watching it. It reminds me of my childhood a little bit.
But you got to give I'll say this. Matthew Perry is the funniest part of that show.
Yep.
That's not even a question.
he definitely makes the
David
show.
Schindler's best work was definitely in Band
Schwimmer.
of Brothers,
David Schwimmer.
not Friends.
David Schindler.
Schindler's
List.
But yeah, my Twitter for some reason likes to show me posts about Friends. Because it is I think a conversation that continues to go on because the episodes still air. They have it on every
TBS, all
every
the time.
streaming service. It rotates.
Never shuts off TBS.
No, ever.
What was with Jennifer Aniston never wearing a bra?
I mean, that was one of the better
You
parts
wanna
of the
question
show,
that?
Yeah. Also, your wife watches this, man. Like, you trying to doc?
She doesn't watch Friends.
Then she wouldn't know about the Jennifer Aniston bra thing.
But yeah, one of the arguments I saw on Twitter was if you think Friends is funny, take out the laughs from it and then listen to it. And so that they actually showed that.
You know what?
And it was like,
Not funny.
what are they even talking about?
I know. You know what
You
they do that
laugh
too?
because of the laugh sound you're saying?
Yes.
You think it's funny because they tell you that it's
Okay.
funny
We
by
take the
adding
action.
the laughs.
I'm taking note of that. We got to add that to this.
Yeah, so we're going to add a laugh soundtrack into this just so we know when the jokes are.
That's applause. Do we got a laugh?
No.
Not yet?
We'll get
Get
it
that
next
one next
week.
week.
I'm going to work
If
on
we get
it.
a couple sponsors, we'd be able to afford it.
It's going to take me all week, but I'll get it in here.
We did have that big one we just did.
Another thing people don't like about
Besides
Friends
ourselves.
is how unrealistic it is. They're in their
Where was Friends filmed?
late 20s, early 30s. They have this giant New York City apartment.
Here, right?
No, where?
Oh, where?
Was it
New York City.
They have a giant New York City apartment.
Yeah.
5 bedrooms, and they don't even have jobs for half the time.
That's
That was a
so
huge
true.
controversy of it. Like,
Oh.
they were rent locked in because Monica's grandma
Yeah.
owned
Yeah,
it
that's
before or
right.
something. But
What?
what do you know what part of New York that was in?
Yeah.
It was
Was it by you? Like, where?
It's by Central Perk.
Central Park. Yeah,
Central Perk.
yeah, Central
By
Park.
Central Perk.
So what is that?
It's in
Manhattan?
it's in Lower Manhattan. It's
Okay.
on the west side there, Greenwich Village. You could actually go see where
It's a real-
where they shoot the thing. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, not to get off topic at all,
Try
but
one.
it is crazy that Cam, you lived in New York City, and a big major event just happened in New York City.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy kept hitting the table. It created an earthquake.
But yeah,
I can't stop.
the earthquake. Big news around the city. Pretty incredible stuff. The one thing I saw that I think summarized the seriousness of it. I don't think there, at least the last time I saw, I don't think there was a lot of structural damage done to buildings, anything notable, anything reported. So I think everybody came out pretty much unscathed. But the one clip I saw was from First Take, I believe, with Molly, the host, and they showed her
I saw
sitting there, and she kept her
yeah.
cool.
Uh-huh.
It was
Yep,
pretty
yep, yep.
amazing, but she's just sitting there like this, and you could just see her
Seriously?
moving like this, and her being completely calm. But then later on, they cut to her, and they're like, she said something like she's from LA, so she's used to earthquakes, and she was pretty sure this was an earthquake, and this was a bad one. It felt really scary, and she was like, just so you guys know, I'm risking my life to do this show.
Oh, that's bad.
But I don't
That's
care how
bad.
used to something you are. I mean, you're not having earthquakes every day in LA.
Yeah, but-
the building starts shaking. You're like, what the hell's going on here?
I'm not a big earthquake guy. I haven't been through a lot of earthquakes.
Have you
I
been
hear-
through one?
No, I
There's
don't think
been
so.
a few here when we were
I
kids
had
that
one
are.
as kids. Like, me and my sister were walking down the street and one hit. We were like,
There's
what
probably
the
like
heck was
a
that?
2.2
Yeah,
or
but
something.
to be honest,
I don't
though,
know.
like that's what I mean. You hear 4.8. I gotta be honest with you.
Oh, I
What
don't
does
know.
that mean?
The ones in
Nah,
California,
yeah.
the big ones, I feel like they're like around 6, maybe.
Yeah, and I mean,
Vito, if
that's
you
what
could find
that's
some
what-
for us.
Is that like East Coast like complaining, or are they blowing it up too much, bigger than it is? Because it was a national story.
So the
4.8.
one that caused that tsunami, remember, was it Taiwan?
Japan.
Japan? Yeah. That was a
was both.
7.4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
The typical ones in California range from 3 to 5.
But I know
so
that
that was pretty bad.
It was a bad one.
each point on the Richter scale, so you go from 3 to 4.
It's
is
exponential,
10
isn't it?
10
Yeah,
times. Or
right.
It's either 10 or 100 times worse.
I think it's 10.
how did you say
Yeah.
it?
It's
So
exponential
each
almost.
point
Like,
Look
on
at
the
us. We
Richter
thought
scale.
we were going to be discussing literature, and we're diving into some
I mean,
science here.
there's
I'm
always
impressed.
science.
We'll get
guys.
back
I'm
to it. We'll get
impressed.
back to
This
it.
is me pulling out 5th grade like knowledge of seismic events.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you're right. It is. I think it's 10 times
Yeah.
the next point, which doesn't mean like when you're
Yes,
just talking
10
about
times.
numbers.
10
It doesn't mean
times.
that much.
It's
but
logarithmic.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each whole
well,
number
no,
increase of
exponential on the
magnitude
math.
represents a tenfold increase.
I said exponential like 20 times.
Yeah, I know.
It's the biggest word I know.
Yeah, but that is insane. It is. It's good to see that. Like, obviously, no one was hurt, or like there wasn't any like building collapses or anything like that. But it's crazy.
Is it often in the area? I mean, is there a tectonic plate around there? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Because I read an article ahead. I didn't read the article,
I
obviously.
don't know. They're always shifting, so I can't keep track of
We were
them.
too busy reading this one.
Yeah.
To
So
really
the
dive
three
into the
biggest
articles about it.
earthquakes in
Right.
U.S. history have all been in Alaska.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
not
because
that
it's
close.
going around the
Yeah.
tectonic
Did some serious
ridge right
damage
there,
up
yeah.
there, huh?
That's what those polar bears are bitching
The one
about.
thing I did see, it was
It was floating
the
on those-
epicenter.
with those
the ice
their
can.
Coca-Cola bottles.
What did they say? The
no,
epicenter was
April-
like 50 miles west of the city.
Yeah,
and
April
they said
5th, there was one in New Jersey also. It was 4.8. That's wild. That close to each other.
What's that called, though?
this
when
was that was the one. No,
Aftershock, right?
Okay, I was gonna say.
are you kidding me?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
I'm
kidding
razzing you, Cameron.
But yeah, they said where it was in the epicenter there. People were so confused about what happened because nobody experienced this before. People ran out into the street to look around.
Really?
You know what that is though? It's kind of like getting snow in Georgia, where it's like you get a light dusting and they shut down the city.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that's
You know what I
true.
mean?
I have friends in Georgia. I work with them regularly.
It's crazy like that. It's like
It's a national or a statewide emergency,
yeah,
you know, when they
100%.
do it. Yeah.
When I was in DC, they did it all the time. Even though they
Whiskey
did-
Bury, New Jersey. Any idea, Cameron?
Thank you.
What, can you repeat it?
To Whiskey Bury, New Jersey.
Not familiar.
Put it up
It-
there so we could read it right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
You got it, Luke?
Hey, he probably did his best job there.
Yeah, nobody else. Yeah, thank you very much.
But yeah, I will have to say, we're comparing it to a snow event in Georgia.
True. Cam, were you?
What's
think it's pretty
happening
similar. I
in
think it's pretty
Georgia?
similar.
My
Cam, were you in New York when that hurricane hit there?
no.
You weren't. Okay.
Sandy.
But yeah, my friends in New York, my coworkers in New York, although this was a big earthquake, I didn't hear a peep about it Friday. Nobody said anything. So, or
Hey.
was it Thursday? Either way.
You did mention Georgia, and we know what's coming up
Oh, it
soon
was
in
yesterday.
Georgia.
Yeah, it was Friday.
Oh, sweet
Friday.
Georgia, baby.
Georgia?
Yeah, you're right. Georgia.
The Masters, fellas. What do we think?
Wow.
Coming up next weekend.
I mean, that was maybe the smoothest segue into a topic I've ever fucking heard in my life. How you took that from a New York earthquake into the Masters was just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really nice. Yes, but I think we're happy to talk about the Masters.
Here's the live odds for it, if anybody's interested in it.
Scotty up at the top.
Is that a surprise to anybody?
Rory
No.
number 2. Has he done anything?
That one annoys the shit out of me, Rory.
So what's when was Rory's big run? Was what years? Like early 2010s?
Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
What
not
was
steal
it?
your thunder here.
Yeah, true.
You
Cam
came up
is
with the
golf
fact.
guy.
2011.
Rory won a lot in like 2011, I think to 2014.
Pull it up real quick.
What do you? How many majors?
He was
Yeah.
definitely the number one player of the world
When's
at
his-
that time.
And when is his last major?
20.
Ooh, that's a good question.
2014 was his last major.
Yep.
Was it the
It's 10
British
years.
Open
10 years ago.
or the U.S. Open?
And they make a really big deal about it because he has been pretty close in the majors a couple of the last years, but then coming down the stretch, he just can't
Kind of a choke
come
artist.
through. Remember the one where Wyndham won? Wyndham Clark
I remember
beat
that
Rory,
one
Yeah.
growing up.
and
yeah.
Rory just
It was really
Did he
recent,
choke
wasn't
on
it?
Sunday?
he choked.
Yeah.
He choked. So to be honest, I don't see the value in picking him,
No way.
especially with those odds.
I feel like they always have him too high.
John Rahm plus 1,300.
He's always.
yeah.
I mean,
Kepka's still the huge drop down there. I don't really understand. I feel like Rahm and Kepka, if you remember, they went head to head in that last
I'm
Masters.
taking.
Did Kepka win
Kepka?
last year?
He didn't
No,
win
Rahm
this.
won
last
He
year.
won the PGA
He
Championship
choked.
last year.
PGA.
Kepka did.
Kepka choked
He was the
in
first
Masters.
live golfer to do it.
yeah, you're right.
And that
But-
kid-
Dude,
that kid
I'm
from-
taking
Did he lose a
Kepka,
Tiger in the Masters?
Zalatoris
He did in
over
2019
McIlroy.
as well.
Uh-huh.
Those were his 2
Over
seconds.
McIlroy every day.
Zalatoris is the guy from Happy Gilmore, right?
Yeah,
The
He's
caddy.
going to be in
He's
Happy
gonna be in-
Gilmore.
he's
Did
the
you see
caddy.
that?
No, is he really?
Yeah,
He
number
should
two.
be.
He is. They
Yeah.
announced it officially. He's going to be in
So
it.
here's a big one for me. Where was it? Plus 16.
Zoom in a little more. I can't see.
Tiger.
You're going
Oh,
for
my
Tiger.
God.
I might take that. I wonder what his odds are to make the cut. But did you guys hear what he said this week?
What about his training regiment? Or
He said he's not having sex until the Masters is over.
Oh my God! Look out! Applebee's waitresses are crying across this.
There goes my tip.
Yeah, they might change that $1 Long Island iced tea because of that. That's pretty messed up.
So we're here talking about Matthew Perry's autobiography, a Tiger Woods autobiography. I feel like the sort of openness that Matthew Perry, his revealing nature in this book, I want Tiger to write something
Dude,
like that.
that would be
because
interesting.
I don't understand that.
That would
What's
be an
in his
American
mind right now?
bestseller.
Although,
Like,
but think about it this way though.
It's
All right,
so true,
outside of his fall off in golf, like that was like somebody we've seen peak and then completely fall off a cliff. But it's weird that it happens. Like somebody loses. I'm sure the money he's lost is insane. I'm sure all of these over a cheating scandal, which I mean, it sucks. But at the end of the day,
though,
like,
the money he lost, it doesn't matter.
you don't. Well, yeah,
He's a
I mean,
billionaire.
fair, but like, you know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like a comedian getting hit on stealing jokes or something like that. At the end of the day, it's not like the worst crime in the world, but someone like Carlos Mencia or something like that completely loses their revenue from that over something that, like, I don't know.
But even that's relevant to their craft. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, you're right. That is a really good point. It's not like he was juicing or anything like that. He was just cheating on his wife, which, you know, but it's not that big a deal when it comes to sports. Like, but he lost all his revenue from it.
Pretty wild.
It's just
How
crazy.
many of
collapse,
those,
really.
How many of those guys actually do that? And
Oh, I'm sure the majority.
that's what I'm
of
saying.
them.
He just got caught for it.
I mean, look at it, Dustin Johnson, right? Justin Johnson got a Coke.
You leave that out of that, all right?
All right, I'm not. You know, I like Pamela Gretzky as much as the next guy, but he got popped for Coke, and I would say that's worse.
that's true.
But you know, it definitely wasn't the same reaction. I get he's not as big a star.
It's like
but
your boy Trevor Bauer. His life's over.
yeah, you're right. Yep.
So, Vito, back to Tiger real quick. Didn't you say something about they already announced the pairings possibly?
Oh, yeah. I read about this yesterday. Oh, wow, it's supposed to be working.
Oh, it's working now.
The Masters said they're not shying away from any drama. They're pairing Tiger and Mickelson together for the first grouping on Thursday.
Are you guys going to be watching?
It's because they got that
Absolutely.
push from Liv to start getting serious. Baseball needs a competitor.
Well, now Liv bought out. Didn't they buy?
oh
the whole
yeah, I know,
PGA?
but I mean they had to
They
get
bought
like,
him out?
Well, the Saudis did.
or they combined, right, or whatever.
Yeah,
merger.
it's like
It'll probably stay the PGA
They
brand.
had no
but
options because they're going to get bought out. One of those things like
I don't know what
they
happened.
didn't like buy him out, but they bought a stake for sure.
No, I'm pretty sure they bought out the whole league. Because
Vito?
that was the big controversy was the president making all those, like, honestly, like, it's kind of fucked up to say, but he was making all these, like,
Are you going to do the right thing?
Yeah. And then they did it,
and
right.
with and tying it in with 9/11 and stuff like that. Like, these players should be,
Yeah,
you know, like,
you're right.
more conscious of who they're taking their money from, and then your whole league gets bought
There's
out
where
from.
I do sympathize with Rory there because he was like the face of everything with that.
Yep.
Like we're sticking with the PGA and
Oh,
stuff,
I
and
mean,
then like
it's
next
fucked
week
up.
they're like, oh, actually, no, Liv's cool.
Yeah.
no, there's nothing that they bought him.
Well, they did.
We're not talking about nothing here. Something happened.
They,
Yeah.
they
They're
bought a
saying there's
stake.
nothing definite. There's going to be no merger or combine happening anytime soon.
They definitely bought. They
Yeah,
gave
this was
them money,
big- this is big
but
news.
you're right. They're still working out the details.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the chatter is about. Is that they're not being open about what the plan is.
He's looking this up on Saudi butt
That
media.
is what it is.
What are you looking at? Al Jazeera? Like, what's going on over there? But that's like them buying out WWE too. It's like, it's just there's a lot of money over there,
Yep.
and I think at the end of the day, it comes down to a lot of these people are just hypocrites. Like,
Yeah.
they don't stand by principles whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a shame, really. I'm really
right,
excited
that's-
for the
that's-
Masters,
okay,
though.
that's
We talked about
Hold on,
Caitlin
hold on.
Clark, LSU, earlier in the podcast. I feel like Live PGA is just as exciting, just as
Yeah.
And dude, Masters really is like the kickoff to like spring's full in effect. Like
Yep.
summer's right around the
It's
corner.
such a good feeling. We got to get out there,
Oh, yeah,
boys.
we're gonna
we
be-
gotta get
This
a
is
few
our ticket.
rounds in.
This is our ticket. I'm telling you, the book review. We'll
to get to Augusta.
Augusta, yeah.
Oh, I'm just talking about we got to get to like Shawnee Hills or something.
Yeah, we got to go to Shawnee.
I'm just talking about our local municipal or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, this is going to be our way to get tickets to Augusta.
Oh, let's hope.
Just throwing it out there. We're Muni golfers. We don't have a club yet.
Not yet. But we
Just
are
throwing
looking.
it out there. I'll let you.
And we broadcast
Do
out
what
of
you want
Shaker
with it.
Heights.
If you want to
Canterbury,
invite us
we're talking to
anywhere,
you.
God bless you. But hey, not to get too far off point and stuff here, Cameron, do you want to maybe bring up what we're going to be focusing in on next week and what we're going to be
That's
reading
big
during
news,
this
big news.
week?
Yeah, maybe before we talk about next week, we should say some final words about the Matthew Perry book.
Okay.
Dave, do
Yeah.
you have any insight on that?
I would say this. I think overarching, I think this is an opinion we can all agree on. Very open book, very forthcoming. I was glad he wrote it. Learned a lot from him. More of the like what not to do to like guide your life, but I thought it was insightful either way.
Definitely hit me with a reminder, which I feel like we get reminded every now and then of like, you never know what somebody's going through.
Yep.
You never know what someone's dealing with. And that was him, really. I mean, there was
Very
a
true.
lot of demons behind that, face we got really familiar with over the years watching Friends and all the
Grew up
shows.
with.
Yeah.
Yep. Well said, guys.
It's crazy. One of the most successful people from that show.
Dealing with all that stuff.
Most of the time he was filming the show too. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I read there was only 2 seasons he was sober during. Actually,
It's crazy.
that's insane.
You could see the weight shifts though.
He carried the
Yeah,
show.
but literally probably one of the best actors. Besides Jennifer Aniston, but that's not fair to compare her to that.
Hey, David Schwimmer was in Band of Brothers.
Schneider, or
Yeah,
what did
I
I
mean,
say?
Schindler.
Schindler's List. All right, guys.
we
Jeez.
close.
Wait, hold
yeah.
on. We got to announce.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Without further ado, we'll review our book for next week.
It was behind the other book the whole time.
I think, especially after what happened today, the outcome of our podcast
Yeah.
and how many tangents we went on,
Too many.
we want to bring up find focus, fight distraction, attention span. This is a book by Gloria Mark, PhD, something we're going to dive into, hopefully learn a thing or two, and maybe it'll help us stay on track a little bit better for the next episode and the episodes after that. But we'll see. I'm having a good time.
And I think, we still did a very, very in-depth review of the book that we came here to review. And
I think it's fair if anybody was looking up reviews for this book that on YouTube, just for a suggestion on what to read next, they would come to us. You know what I mean? Like,
I would hope, yeah.
Hopefully, we become a trusted word in the literary space.
also want to say, after releasing our first episode, could not believe the results.
It was
how
crazy.
many
It
views,
was
how many
absolutely
comments, how many
insane.
likes.
the feedback was awesome. Keep it coming, people.
Which is really good,
Please
and
keep
I
it
hope
coming.
you guys. All of that stuff helps us. Like, not even like on a monetary level, just in a motivational space.
Yeah.
Like it's just really good to see.
Yeah, we got this on YouTube. You know what they say on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button, everybody.
Hit those
that
likes. But anything to finish us out, fellas?
I think we have to have the closing word coming from our resident tech head, Vito. Anything to take us out? And you better not say, "Oh no, I don't know."
No, look forward to hearing from you guys, and look forward to talking to you guys again next week, and we'll dive into this book.
All right, sounds good, guys.